I don't know exactly how we did it, but we did it. A&M takes games 2 and 3 from Mississippi State after getting absolutely blasted in game one, 18-11. First of all, just kind of before we get into the series, I wanted to say thank you to all the seniors. Senior day was Saturday, was yesterday. So shout out to all of those guys. So many of them went through so much and stuck with the team through so much and were key contributors to the success this year. So shout out to all of our seniors. Um, Michael Early said this in his press conference after the game yesterday, and we've said it a bunch too. A&M is 3-7 in conference series openers, and they have 18 conference wins. Tag, how is that possible?
It's very unlikely if we were going into to starting. If you had told me when we were hanging out before Oklahoma that we would be going 3-7 in conference play, I'd be like looking at you like, are we on the verge of last year happening but worse possibly? Um, but this team has been it's been unbelievable. I've never seen a team be 15-4 in games 2 and 3 against this league. Like
Yeah.
against the competition that A&M has faced this year, against the programs they've faced this year, to be 15-4 in games 2 and 3, it just shows you how good Sims is in the back half of the rotation, and it shows how good the depth of this lineup is.
Yeah, I mean, it's some of the coaching staff, like Jason Kelly, like some of these guys get a lot of heat. It's a really impressive job by the coaching staff, being so banged up. And you just beat Mississippi State without Aiden Sims after you got totally blasted in game one. Put this out in a tweet. Clayton Freshcorn threw over 70 pitches. Shane Sadeo got blasted in game. You used Weston Moss and Shane Sadeo in game two. You didn't use Weston Moss or Shane Sadeo in game three. You started Darden again, and Mississippi State only scored 6 runs. So games 1 and 2, you gave up a lot of runs, but I mean, Jason Kelly did an impressive job and early managing the pitching staff that he had in game three. So I don't know how sustainable that is. We can talk about that. Like when you get into a regional, how bad it can be if you lose kind of your 1-0 game or even your first game. Or if you're in a super regional, it's kind of tough if you don't want to lose the first game. So we'll talk about that a little bit, like maybe what some of the solutions there are.
Mhm.
Okay, going through the full series, you batted 324 as a team. Mississippi State outscored you, which that's going to happen when you give up 18 runs in the first game. Couple series standouts. Caden Sorrell led the team with 9 RBIs. He had a 6 RBI game in game two. That was when he was a single short of the cycle. Chris Akopian was most impressive to me. He batted 545 this weekend, 6 of 11, multiple hits in like every game. So that was really impressive. And then Ben Royo kind of found his footing again after game one. He was 6 for 14, and he had the most at bats out of everybody. So that's kind of. Do you have anything else, just general from players throughout the series?
Yeah, I thought the big standout just either we want to talk about the whole series or game three. I thought Bear was really good.
Yeah,
The clutch hit to win, the double down the line, the single in the eighth to keep that inning going in game two. Like he was clutch, but in my opinion, he's been your most consistent player all year. We've talked about that. We've talked about it off live, but I said Bear's been the most consistent player all year. Just not even it doesn't even have to be from a batting average perspective. Like
yep,
Bear gets on base. That's why he's been trajecting up the lineup. He was 4 hole game one or game two, I forget which day, but there's a reason why he's one of the top catchers in the conference, and it doesn't have to do with batting average or home runs at all.
yeah, and he threw somebody out stealing, I think yesterday. Okay, moving into game three, we did not do an instant reaction because I lost my voice and I couldn't speak. So we are going to talk about that now. Bear Harrison was the standout. He was 2 for 4, 2 RBIs and a double, led the team for RBIs. And it was like this reappearance of just clutch hitting that we've seen from A&M all the time. We'll get into kind of the scoring summary of each inning, but 2 outs, you got to have it, and he delivered. Uh, Gavin Grahovac was the only Aggie that was hitless. So that was, that's not a good formula if your best player doesn't play well when you need it in a rubber match. But obviously, everybody else picked up the slack. So getting into what we said had to happen, because Tag and I sat here after game one, like after how bad game one was. Tag and I both sat here and said we would not be surprised if A&M was playing for a rubber match, and we also would not be surprised if they came back and won the series. And that's exactly what happened. Um, Tag, do you want to? I think yours was you talked about getting to the bullpen early.
Yeah, I said getting to the bullpen was crucial because the numbers for Mississippi State were just not great back there. Aside from Ben Davis, their closer, and aside from a couple of their key arms that you did get to in games 1 and 2. Um, Game one was like the eighth inning or ninth inning. You had to get to two of their big arms, but then all day Friday you got to their like high leverage, good arms early,
Yep.
and you got to them again early. So it was that what needed to happen for A&M to be successful offensively happened, and then the clutch timely hitting was what won you the game.
Yeah, so on the season, we talked about Mississippi State struggling in game threes. They averaged 5.1 pitchers used in game three of SEC series, and A&M saw six. And we talked about it. Like Mississippi State has good starters, but the bullpen is light and they have walk issues. And Mississippi State walked 13 batters yesterday, which is the most that they have walked in a conference game. And then secondly, we talked about how we both thought Darden was going to start again, which is exactly what happened. And that was extremely key. I mean, he gave you exactly what you needed. He went 4 1/3, gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, walked one, struck out one, and he gave you 3 scoreless. As we get into the game here, picking a player of the game is literally impossible, because even if you want to look at just stats, you could say it's Bear, but we'll get into like Travis Chestnut and Boston Kellner and Nico Partita and like um, Cooper Powell. Like so many moments in this game where the stat sheet are not going to show you how important what they did was, but it might have been the difference in the game. Um, so getting into the game itself, innings 1 through 2 were scoreless. Darden, I think Mississippi State had a base runner in the first. I don't think they had any in the second. He was really good in innings 1 and 2, and then in the third inning, A&M strikes first, fielding error, Mississippi State shortstop. Sorrell comes home, so A&M strikes first. That's also something we talk about. A&M scoring first, they win a lot when they score first. Um, then the fourth inning, Mississippi State answers. It was like I think they grounded out, but they drove in a runner. And
Mhm.
then A&M had a big inning. They responded. Sorrell fielder choice scores Binder up, and then Hakopian singles to center. He had like a little flare into center field, and that scores Kellner. So now A&M is leading 3-1 heading into the fifth. And then that's when Darden exits after 3 1/3, as we talked about. Lyons comes in and he gets hit pretty hard. He gives up 2 home runs. Ace Reese hits a 2-run homer, tying it at 3. And then Noah Sullivan hits a solo shot off like the top of the batter's eye, giving Mississippi State a 4-3 lead. And to me, Tag, like the vibes in the ballpark were not good after you lost the lead. Um, with the pitch, like the offense had, I think, 2 hits through the first 7 innings, which if I had told you that before the game started, that would have that's not good. Like that would not have sounded good. So what do you kind of? I mean, what was your vibe in the ballpark after A&M lost the lead in the fifth inning?
Yeah, I think when Ace Reese hit the home run, it was like, oh, okay, like they tied the game, and it kind of got a little quiet, but it was still good. And then Noah Sullivan just can't. literally unloaded on one off the batter's eye,
Yep.
and then you could hear a pin drop in Olsen, and then kind of this offense kind of was stagnant for a couple of innings after that, until the seventh or eighth inning. Um, but yeah, no, the Mississippi State took the crowd out of it for about two innings there until, well, Cooper Powell came in and kind of reignited with the three strikeouts through two innings. But
Yep.
overall, the crowd was not a factor when once they took the lead. Because A&M was struggling offensively. It was like 1, 2, 3 inning or get the leadoff guy on, can't move him. But yeah, no, and then you saw what this place has to offer down the stretch.
I forgot to show this comment, but yeah, just this is what we were talking about earlier. Like, this is so impressive. I mean, you to win that, I can't even to win this series was absolutely ridiculous. Um, okay, this is gonna bring me to like my first kind of spotlight player, or second because we just talked about Darden. But Cooper Powell comes in while A&M's offense is struggling. Crowd's kind of out of it. Mississippi State has a lead, and he puts up. He throws two perfect innings with three strikeouts, no base runners, obviously. So that was huge. Like, that's when Mississippi State took the lead and Cooper Powell comes in. You felt like, oh no, this is where they're gonna pull away. Like, they're gonna start scoring. They're gonna run away from us, maybe. And Cooper Powell said no. So two scoreless innings while the offense, I think, went three up, three down again and again. Like, that was huge. And then moving into the seventh inning, this is when things got very, very fun. What actually happened, the reason why we won is me and Tag and a couple of our friends moved from section 202 to 203. Like, we changed seats and then we scored. So we're also like spotlight players. Um, Royo, you get the first two guys on in the seventh. Royo lifts a sac fly to right center, which scores Dewar to tie the game, and Nico Partita comes into the game. Did he pinch hit?
So what happened was the Mississippi State goes to the bullpen for a lefty in early counters by bringing Partita out
Yes.
to pinch hit for Jorian, and now just to highlight, we talk about highlight players of the game. This was Early's best managed game by far,
Yes.
and he out coached one of the best coaches in the conference, but in the country this weekend, and that is why you were victorious this weekend.
And that's not just the lineup. Like, you talk about starting Darden again and Cooper Powell and all of these things on the mound and in the lineup. Yeah, Mississippi State was outcoached. So yeah, that's a good point. So Partita comes into the game and battles through an at bat. This guy hasn't played in a game in weeks, and he finds a way to get on base. He fouls off a bunch of I don't know how many pitches the at bat was, but he had two strike. There's like a 2-2 count, and he just fouled off pitches, took a ball, fouled off some more pitches, and then walked. And that was huge. If Partita's out there, maybe you don't take the lead, because immediately after not immediately after, because whoever was after Partita got out, I think. But then Kellner,
Popped up.
yes, Bindrup pops up, and then Kellner comes in with Partita on base. I think we had a runner at second and third.
First and third. We had
First and third. First and third, yes. Kellner, little flare shot down the right field line that lands fair, and that scores Bear Harrison. Boston Kellner is another guy who is completely banged up. He's wearing a mask because he has a broken face, and he delivers just like so many guys on this team have all year. So he that little single down the right field line scores Bear. A&M retakes the lead 5-4 in the seventh, and Olsen is completely alive again. And then the eighth inning happens. The freshman, what's his first name?
Jacob Parker.
Jacob Parker blast to section 12. This fresh corn is now in the game, by the way. Who you have, which again, that's a really tough ask for fresh corn. Hey, you threw 50 pitches yesterday. We're gonna have you come in and win us the game again when we have a 1-run lead. So that's a tough
not just win us the game. You got to go 2 innings to win us the game.
Yes. So Jacob Parker homers for Mississippi State, 2-run shot. They're back on top 6-5. That was with no outs. And so that's not a good vibe. That's not a good feeling either. Because now you're thinking, if Fresh Corn's going to get hit around, who in the world are we going to put in the game? Um, but I mean, it felt pretty clear. You could feel it, like that game was going to be won or lost with Fresh Corn, kind of how it's been all year. So Mississippi State is up uh, in the eighth, and then A&M comes up to bat, and it's an immediate answer. You get the first two guys on one. I think Sorrell, it was a 4-pitch walk, and then Chris Akopian uh,
Singles to right.
singles to right. Yep. And then Chestnut comes into the game. This is another just Michael Early masterclass. He lays down a perfect bunt
Hmm.
that advanced. They had absolutely no play at third base. The third baseman like engaged and kind of walked down. He had to run back. Like they had absolutely no chance of getting Caden Sorrell out at third. So Chestnut lays out a perfect bunt to advance Chris Akopi into second and Caden Sorrell to third. And then Bear Harrison singles to left, and that drives in Hakopian and Sorrell for 2 runs. So A&M now has the lead 7-6, which they would never relinquish. And then, of course, in the ninth inning, Fresh Corn closes it out. Which, man, another nail biter. Whoever's before Ace Reese gets on, and then it's Ace Reese with 2 outs. If he hits a home run, Mississippi State takes the lead, and if A&M gets him out, the game's over. So another nail biter. But man, I mean, this was so impressive. I told Tag like after it was over, I was like, dude, this is the most impressive series win I can remember in a long time. You
Hmm.
go down in game one, you lose that game. You scored 11 runs in game run and you in game one, and you weren't even in the game. That's how bad you got beat. And then you don't get your ace in game two, who you feel like has been the reason why you've been so good in games two. Um, Obviously, you gave up 9 runs in game two, so not what you're used to when you have Aiden Sims out there. But then you take game two, and then we said, okay, great, we took one. That's what we needed. How in the world are we going to win game three? Uh, Man, Ethan Darden does a great job. Everybody, even Gavin Lyons, like Gavin Lyons got hit around a bit, but he also got out of a jam where Mississippi State could have scored more runs. So just such an incredible team effort. It's such a um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's such a
Gutsy performance.
I don't know, whatever. It's a testament to the coaching. I mean, just the whole identity of the team was on display. That is such a tough win. Guy comes in who's Boston Kellner is playing injured. Chris Akopian, that's another thing. When Bear Harrison singled to left and Chris Akopian's on second, he is running home on a flat tire and he's like just thugging it out on his way home, just like Jace in the 2024 College World Series. Um, yeah, I mean, this game made me like just so proud to be covering the team and to be an Aggie. So those are my thoughts on the series.
Yeah, I think the reason why we're so impressed with this team is because how good Mississippi State is and
Yep.
how good we know them to be. Like they have the second best pitcher in this conference in Thomas Valinkis. And yeah, you lost the game that he pitched, but you scored 7 runs off the second best pitcher in the conference.
Yep.
Um, and then like the standout everyone wants to talk about Ace Reese is like how good Ace Reese is, but Noah Sullivan was as good as Ace Reese was projected to be. Like Noah Sullivan only had I think 8 home runs coming into this weekend and finished with 12. Like
Yep.
he is the real deal, and their whole team is the real deal, to be honest. And they're going to go home and host a regional probably. If I had to guess, they're going to be like close to that bubble line, and they're going to be a dangerous team for whoever they face. But the highlight is early out coached O'Connor, and in my opinion, that was the most impressive.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so A&M finishes conference play 18-11, which sounds a lot like something that I brought up in the rant I went on before the Mississippi State series, which was that this team lost back-to-back series and people were absolutely flipping out about the coaching staff and about the players and all of that. And I said, guys, if they find a way to take 2 or 3 from Mississippi State this weekend, they're going to finish 18-11 in conference play. The 2024 team, the greatest team we've ever had here, finished 19-11 in conference play. So this team, the 2026 team, is one win off of that. by no fault of their own, because we literally played one less conference game this year. That's not to say that this team is like as good as the, I'm not comparing the two teams themselves. I'm just saying they won 18 conference games given everything that happened. Um, that's why Early is going to be, top of kind of the list of coaches of the year. Not even just in the SEC, but just overall, like out of everybody. This is one of the most impressive coaching jobs that you'll see, especially after how year one went. So, yeah, you went 3-3 in your last uh, two series. Tag, are we a top eight national seed?
Yeah, I think I truly believe you are because of how many crucial wins you've gotten this year with series wins over Mississippi State, Texas, Florida. Who else was the key one? But those are the three that like stand out. And I'm gonna highlight a tweet from Kendall Rogers today. He said of the teams that are projected to be top 8 national seeds, there are 4 teams that have series wins against teams that are going to be hosting in the last projection. That is Georgia, who went 23-7. That is Texas A&M. That's Auburn and Texas. So you're the top of the top that everyone's projecting to be top 8 has 3 series wins against teams that are going to be the number 1 seed in a regional,
Yep.
and therefore that's why I believe that A&M will be. Plus A&M's resume with wins over Arizona State, or
Yep.
with the win over Arizona State. I think that's the big one. That's the non-conference win. I mean, Virginia Tech is not that great. Little did we know, but Arizona State's really good, and you have the win over them, and that adds to this loaded resume of wins in conference play.
I cannot wait to start talking about the College Station Regional and all that stuff. It's going to be so much fun. Um, how important is it to have postseason baseball at Olson through Omaha? Like the road to Omaha running through College Station, not just for like generally all teams, but this team specifically, like with the pitching struggles, with some
Mhm.
of the issues that they have, like how important is it that they have postseason baseball at Olson through Omaha?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that it's a big deal to have home field advantage, but when you have the best environment against when it matters, like everyone saw the Texas game this year, everyone saw 2024 Oregon, everyone saw these big environments. Would you put up 22 Louisville?
Yes.
Yeah, see,
2022
I wasn't
TCU. I
there,
mean,
but I
everyone.
was all of these games included that matter that A&M has found a way to win. It's just been the environment has been unmatched, and when you get these tough regionals, or when we call them the regional of death, that the projection with UTSA, Cincinnati, and Tarleton, that's the regional depth because all these teams homer a lot. Like
Yep.
these teams are great, and for a staff that struggles playing at home with this off, I think the what matters most, regardless of the pitching, when you are hitting at Olson, and the other team pitcher has to deal with this environment, that is what matters.
Yeah. I don't, I'm going to go back to something Schloss said when he was here, which is I don't love talking about the dude, but he does make a good point. When I think it was maybe in 2022 when A&M was a top eight national seed. Like you play a lot of non-conference opponents. You don't see a ton of SEC on it. It happens sometimes, but you don't see a ton of SEC on SEC matchups in supers. And so if you play a team, from the Big 12 or whatever, like or whatever, or Louisiana or whoever, like these teams do not, they're not used to an SEC atmosphere. Like they do not play in that kind of thing. Whereas if we played Arkansas in our super regional, they've played at Olson before. They play at Baum Walker. They've gone to the box. They've gone to Duty Noble. Like all of these places in the conference, like Olson is amazing, but Duty Nobles is louder. There are more people there, right? And so SEC teams are kind of used to that. But if you're, Louisville or whatever, like you're not. I mean, you're just not
Mhm.
used to this kind of thing. And so even like TCU or I mean that Oregon 2024 Super Regional, that team completely fell apart in the seventh inning. Um, Walked 7 batters or whatever it was. Not a single pitcher they ran out there could find the strike zone. They were shaking. I mean, like these teams that are not used to that kind of atmosphere and that level of noise and just hostility are not ready for what they will feel in a regional final or in a super regional against Texas A&M at Olson Field. So super excited to watch the selection show to see who we get
Mhm.
in our regional. This is the best time of year.
Yeah,
It's so exciting.
absolutely.
Um,
Especially with
that's
the week
yeah.
that's
Go
about to
ahead.
happen. Like
Yeah,
I feel like the best baseball that gets played is down the stretch. Obviously, the last 2 weekends, but then you see the baseball just rise to another level in Hoover, and then obviously that continues into who makes a regional and who's hosting.
this I forgot about this. When we played
Yeah,
Virginia Tech, that guy's like a draft. I mean, he's isn't he good?
I think
I don't
so. Yeah, I'm
remember.
pretty sure this guy's a draft guy.
Yeah,
I don't know about as draft guys as what you saw through the with Aiden Kings and Liam Petersons and Valinkus and Volantis and Ruger and all these guys that are draft eligible from the SEC. But he's one of the premier arms in the ACC, and you absolutely took it to him. If this is my memory recalling, I believe he is. Um, but Virginia Tech just hasn't, just to be flat out, they just haven't been good
yeah,
this year. Um, so in that conference too, if you want to make the tournament in that conference, you got to be like top eight,
yeah.
six, top seven, maybe with how good the top is of the ACC. Um, yeah.
All right. Not only is A&M probably a top 8 national seed, but you're the 3 seed in the SEC tournament, so you get the double bye, uh, which for this team specifically is so important. Like these guys are going to get to take a breath and relax and not play baseball for a second and rest. Early said in his post game press conference after the yesterday, he said, we're excited about the double bye because we're going to be back to our team is going to be back to full health, in a few days or so or whatever. So double bye is huge. I guess we can get into just the SEC tournament. So
Mhm.
on A&M's side, uh, it's gonna be we'll just talk about obviously A&M is a double bye, so they're gonna await the winner of Auburn is gonna play either LSU or Oklahoma, and then the winner of that game will play A&M on um, Friday nights, 7 p.m. I think,
It's an hour
an
after
hour after. Yeah.
Texas ends. Yeah.
So on A&M side of the bracket, 14 seed LSU is going to play 11 seed Oklahoma. This is on Tuesday, so in 2 days. This is the night game. Um, it's hard not to like Oklahoma in that game. I mean, LSU looks like they've just completely given up.
hmm But
Uh,
but in a one gamer, I mean, LSU's talented enough to make that game
yeah,
close.
you're
In a
right.
one game, they could throw William Schmidt, and he's very good. And that lineup has guys that can hit, like Aaron Beatty and Milam and guys like that. Dardar and all these guys are very talented. In a one game setting, I mean, I wouldn't put past LSU to win one, but once again, this team has nothing to play for unless they go out and win the whole thing.
This is kind of relevant now. For conference tournament, I'd rather us win and get all the way to Sunday or lose game one and get some rest. We'll most likely play Texas game 2 Saturday.
Mhm. I mean,
Thoughts?
I like the theory. However, obviously, you want to win the league. Like I think that's the tipping point. Plus, we've seen Georgia looks unbeatable at times, and we've seen how they've done the last 2 years in conference tournament. They have not done very, they've lost the
Yeah,
first game both times. So you have a real shot at winning this league, especially because I believe that Texas will have to use Volantis on Friday because Arkansas's lineup is that talented. If they use Luke Harrison or whoever they're going to use, Arkansas's lineup is really good. Especially now, the way they're playing, they are really good. They just scored 15 runs on Kentucky on Saturday or yesterday.
yep.
No matter how bad Kentucky is, it's still an SEC staff that has very good pitching. So um, I think they will have to use Volantis and all their key arms to win that game. So if you do see them, you might be looking at Luke Harrison rematch, and you know how
I
this
can't.
offense fair gets that.
I can't wait
Um,
for the. I can't wait for the excuses again. Oh, you dodged Volantis again. You dodged
yeah,
Volantis again.
and I think the like Jonathan just said in the chat, the weather's not going to be good. It doesn't look
Yeah,
good. That means we get midnight baseball at Hoover, like that, like the one famous clip of Vanderbilt playing, I think LSU and when Enrique Bradfield was there, so that had to have been like 2019. They were playing at like 1 a.m. We could be seeing that again, and it's like peak when you're just at home and you're watching. Well, it doesn't have to be your team because baseball's great. Like you could be watching Alabama versus Vanderbilt at 10 p.m. or
Yeah.
whoever's playing. Like it's a great week for baseball, but if the forecast isn't great, don't be like they will play. I'm pretty positive. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's unless
They
it's
will.
like the
Yes.
softball situation that happened last year.
All right. So going back to our side of the bracket, LSU is going to play Oklahoma. The winner of that game is going to play six seed Auburn. That's also the night game. That would be on Wednesday in the second round. It just feels like A&M is going to see Auburn again. That's just how I feel about it. Um, and then so the winner of whoever plays Auburn on Wednesday will play A&M on Friday night. So and then moving up, if A&M wins their quarterfinal game, uh, it looks like they might play Texas. That's what a lot of people are saying. But if we move up on Texas's side of the bracket, 15 seed South Carolina is going to play number 10 Tennessee. The winner of that game will play Arkansas, 7 seed Arkansas on Wednesday. That's the evening game. And then the winner of that game will play 2 seed Texas Friday. So and then the winner of that will play A&M in the semis if A&M wins. So
Yeah,
feels
and
like it's going to be Texas or Arkansas.
yeah, to go backtrack on that, Tennessee gets draws South Carolina, like they don't have to throw Coons there. Um, so you could see Coons versus Arkansas, and it would be Arkansas Gabe Gackle or one of the lefties against Tegan, or I believe it's Tegan Coons, but Coons versus Arkansas staff, like that's a great matchup for Tennessee, I think, or great match. Like that game's going to be great, and then you get to a rematch of Tennessee versus Texas if that was the case, and you know for sure they would have to throw Volantes after losing the series in Knoxville to them, I believe. But yeah, it's going to be a great weekend of baseball regardless of who's throwing when, and I believe if it is A&M versus Auburn, you will see Marciano again or whatever his name is because they have to play LSU or whatever. If they play Oklahoma, yeah, they might throw him there, but we never know how these teams line up the conference tournament.
All right, that's it for kind of everything I have to say.
Do we want to talk about
Before,
who's like what's gonna step up for this team to be successful in the postseason?
yeah, I mean, if you want to,
Yeah,
what do
I
you
was
what
gonna
do you
say
have?
like the Cooper Powell outing for me is what like is very like awesome in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like you have another leverage arm that you can roll out there, even though yeah he's a freshman, he was running it up to 96. He looked really good, and then like Hunter Vincent and Cole Hubert on game one were very usable in a setting in postseason baseball in like a game one um, or even when you need them the most. Like if they could have pitched honestly yesterday, and I would have thought they would. I would have liked their chances against what was happening yesterday because they needed a change of pace. Like they all throw relatively harder than Darden and Lions, so it would have been a different angle, and each guy has a different thing to him. Like Hunter Vincent's very tall; it's a different release point that you have to catch on. Cole Hubert's a shorter guy, and then Cooper Powell throws the hardest out of all of them, and they're all from the left side, and they've all got something different about them. So they're very crucial because when you're rolling out Sims or you're rolling out whoever, and then you can go to Hunter Vincent, whose arm angle is very different than Sims or Lions or whoever's throwing. It is very crucial to this team. And then we talked about it when Early says, "Are this team's almost fully healthy?" Um, that lineup will will just handle a regional, in my opinion.
yeah. I think I've said since Auburn, like the pitching staff has to find one more guy, like one of the young guys, or somebody else that hasn't been playing very much. Like somebody else needs to step up and fill like a relief role because
Mm-hmm.
fresh corn and now fresh like if you really need it fresh corn actually can go out for two games back to back or game 1 and game 3 and close out 2 games if he needs to. So
Mhm.
for me, it was like, man, if you can just find one more guy to come in relief and reliably get you through like 2-3 innings without damage or without much damage, that would be so huge for this team. Uh, it could still be Hunter Bond. Like Hunter Bond
Yep,
still could
I
be
forgot him. Good shout.
Hunter Bond could still be very useful to you. Cole Hubert looked, as you said, looked really good in game 1, even though we were down a billion runs. And then Cooper Powell was awesome yesterday. Without Cooper Powell, you might not have won the game. That game
Mhm.
could have looked totally different. So I'm not saying that it's one guy or the other. It could be a few, which would be incredible.
Mhm.
But if you could just find at a minimum one guy that you can, not like another Gavin Lyons, like I'm not saying that, but just one guy who you can roll out there that you feel good about. All right, where he's going to get us through 2 innings, he's going to get us through 3 innings or whatever. Just find one more guy like that. That would be so huge for A&M in the
Mhm.
postseason, especially in a regional.
Yeah, that's about it, I think.
That's
But
it.
I think that you got to stick with it. Like Shane's been one of your guys. Like we talked about the senior class, Shane's been is one of these seniors that has set the forefront of what Early's tenure is going to be here. So you just got to stick with it. I think he's had a rough year, just to say it. But if he can get back to the truly talented self he is, this team has the capability of being really good.
Yep. Yeah, that was it. That was awesome weekend, emotional roller coaster. One of the most stressful series like I've ever
Mhm.
watched in my life. But we ended it right.
Mhm.
We started at noon so that we could end before softball starts. So get to softball. They're going to be playing hopefully 2 games. Hopefully it's not just one. But they've got to beat Arizona State twice today. So get to softball, and then we will be back. We'll do instant game reactions for the games in Hoover. Um,
Yeah, we could do a reaction to day two of Hoover and preview what A&M has
yeah,
in either Auburn or Oklahoma or LSU, and then we could also highlight what's happened throughout the league and who else is going to be hosting category, because
yep,
there are a lot of conference tournaments with teams that have the capability of hosting, and who knows what happens. So if you will be at softball, we will be in the outfield. Come say what's up. But yeah, that's about it.
yeah. I'll just say like we'll do the instant reactions like you said, and then we'll do a big show whenever the regionals are released and we know who A and
Mhm.
M's going to be playing. So we'll kind of do a full breakdown of everybody that's going to be in the regional. Yeah, thank you for watching. We don't tell you to keep faith in the team for no reason. Not saying told you so, but we both did say that we felt like it would not be surprising if A&M came back and won the series and put themselves in a position to be a national seed, and they did. So yeah, congratulations to the coaches, the players. Thank you to everybody who has stayed with the team and not done this. Um, and yeah, we'll see you guys